Good morning, everybody. Today, let us talk about the concepts of modernism and postmodernism. To begin with, let us start with modernism. Modernism is a catch-all term for the numerous artistic and cultural movements of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In critical parlance, these appear to be the no difference between modernity, and modernism. But definitely, we have some difference between these terms of modernity, and modernism. Let us try and understand these terms. Modern, in the general sense, may mean something new or novel. But in true literal sense, it refers to the religious transition of the 6th century, a time when Roman paganism embraced Christianity. Moreover, modern was defined in relation to the ancient or the classical. The term modernity is also known as enlightenment or the period of the liberal humanism. If modern ranges from 6th century AD to almost 14th century AD, roughly the period of modernity ranges from the mid 17th century to the last quarter of the 19th century. It is a period of scientific awakening, discovery of new routes, a period of commercial outbreak to the West with which the other countries are connected. It is also the period of reason replacing the period of faith. It is a period when theocentrism is replaced with humanism or man as the center of the universe. The most important advocates of modernity are the philosophy of Francis Bacon, Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, Descartes, Immanuel Kant, and various others have affected the development of modernity in the West. It is the period of certain cornerstone ideas such as unity, truth, subjectivity, liberty, progress, and so many other metaphysical thoughts. Modernism, on the contrary, is a cultural movement that started in the West around 1890 and was dominated by the philosophy of a few important persons like Friedrich Nietzsche, Karl Marx, Charles Darwin, Sigmund Freud, or Sir James Frazer. Rather, concentrated for the most part of the urban centers like Paris, Vienna, London, Berlin, and New York, including Chicago, modernism signifies a widespread revolution in the arts of music, painting, architecture, philosophy, and literature, associated with a wide variety of creative individuals ranging from Arnold Schoenberg, Pablo Picasso, James Joyce, T.S. Eliot, Virginia Woolf, William Faulkner, and Franz Kafka. The intellectual roots of the modernist phenomena extended back to the late 18th and 19th centuries with figures as disparate as Immanuel Kant, Arthur Schopenhauer, Gustav Flaubert, and Friedrich Nietzsche. Modernism is characterized by the rejection of tradition, aestheticism, aesthetic self consciousness, abstraction or non representationalism, discontinuity, and a heightened sense of the irrational, subjective, and the absurd. The intellectual roots of modernism lie in the transcendental ideas of Immanuel Kant's 1781 essay, The Critique of Pure Reason, that he published in 1854. It believes that what we know as reality is in fact the product of the categories of our own cognition of time, space, causality or casuality, relativity, and so on. Absolute reality or divine Godhead or the thing in itself cannot be known through the human perception. Aristotelian notion of art as mimesis, art should be didactic with moral or ethical teachings, and art as a result of the divine inspiration become extremely problematic in this insight. Kant proposes that the artist chooses the form and purpose of the work of art alone. The work of art forms a universe of its own, and the artist is its sole creator. From this modernist viewpoint came the turn of the century trend, which is what is called as aestheticism or the art for art's sake. The language of science is logical. Discourse is essentially denotative, while the language of aesthetics is evocative and connotative nuances of language. This specialization and specification between aesthetic ideas and rational discourse gives modernist art its often apparently discontinuous, abstract, and sometimes irrational or surreal quality. The expression of the subjective realities was given impetus by the psychoanalysis of Sigmund Freud. Freud's discovery of the unconscious explains what lies hidden from the domain of the conscious mind, what is expressed often through the unusual metaphoric symbolism of the individual's dream world. Freud and Kant believe that the individual is divorced from the invisible or understandable world, be it the unconscious or the noumena. This suggests that the modernism contains the liberated and alienated individual consciousness from the objective reality. The issue of the alienation of the self becomes a major theme in the modernist work of art. The 19th century roots of existentialism are very closely associated with the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche, who is an important modern writer. And his overall influence on the spirit of modernism is enormous. Not only his radical condemnations of the Christian religion, middle class value systems, and European culture and civilization in general, which contributed to the modernist rejection of all prior tradition, but also his far reaching modernist sensibility of radical doubt and radical nihilism. Nietzsche's extreme pessimism stood as a counterpart to the cultural optimism. Added to these was the notion of the origin of species by Charles Darwin. His principle of evolution replaced the Western belief in the Bible, God, and religion with a rationalism and scientific approach to everything. The socio political and economic understanding of the modern society is shaped by the next interesting modern writer, who is Karl Marx. The society is completely shaped by the Marxian notion of pyramid structure with the structure of superstructure.